Why, hello, welcome. This is your godfather, your mother of the Nile, Peyton 3.0, the EDM and drumstep vocalist Zombie Supreme. And today we're going to talk about in this series of The Truth Is, why money keeps running away from you. Money runs away from at least 90 to 95% of the people in most countries. And there's a reason for that. Money has definitely always ran away from me, even though I never really made much of it. But honestly, it doesn't matter how much you make. If you don't know how to run money, money will run you and run away from you. I spent years foolish and money running away from me. Paycheck to paycheck, struggling like hell, suffering for years until one day something changed. They came along and I paid attention to it, and there was a shift. And I became curious, and I started studying more things about financial literacy. And that's what you're going to need to do, whether you're still working a 9 to 5 or not. I'm definitely working a 9 to 5, but I no longer live paycheck to paycheck anymore. Well, how is that possible, you may ask? Well, sit back, relax, and get ready, because here we go. Now, the thing and the reason why you can't really hold on to money, and yes, most of the time these people ain't paying you enough. If you're in an entry level position, even if you're a manager, currently right now at some restaurant or some customer service, whatever, right? You're probably just a couple steps above an entry level employee for most of you. Um, but it doesn't matter how much you make, because if your money blueprint in your mind, and you may be asking, what's a money blueprint? Well, having money has nothing to do. Having money has nothing to do with what's on the outside, in your hands, in your bank account. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with how the very thing that sits in your head is functioning, and how it's trained or actually untrained. And for most of us, our brains are untrained. Why? And our money blueprint is very poor up in our brain, because we have never been taught how to actually run money and make it stay, and discipline money, because money's like a wild boar, honey. Money's like a wild cat that's fresh off the vine, honey, and hopping around. You can't really catch it. Money's like one of those pigeons in the street that you try to catch, honey. And every time you try to put your hands on it, it knows and it flies away before you can even touch it. And it's wrangling that wild beast in, called money, and making it do your bidding instead of you doing it and being a slave to it. Even if you're working a 9 to 5 job. Now, if you're making like $30,000, and that's in gross or less. Most of us are making maybe 23,000 a year. That's at the lowest usually, or maybe 22 at the lowest. Some of us are making $27,000 a year. $27,000 a year. That's net. Some of you are making middle class wages, which is like $45,000 a year. maybe even $50,000 a year, but you have the same problem as a lower working class of people in holding on to money because your money blueprints are basically the same, right? And like I said, is having this problem is not really your fault. But with the technology and information that we have today, to continue to be stupid with money and let money run away from you, let that wild boar run away from you, honey. Like the bull in a rodeo, honey. That you had to try to ride and stay on and not get thrown off, which many people are not successful at. Money's gonna keep running from you. It's gonna, and then it's gonna leave you because you need money. You need it. It doesn't money doesn't need you. Money can care less about you. Money runs the world. Money rules the world. Some of you out there might be saying, money's not important. Money's not important. I used to say stupid stuff like that as well. Because what I was trying to justify is things like love and community and other stuff is more important. But guess what? And even though that may be true to a certain extent, we live in most of us in watching this are most likely in developed countries like America. That's the country I'm in. Um, is that we live in a capitalist world, and guess what? And we all have to participate in it. For if we do not participate in it, we basically starve and die, or we're leeches to somebody else who's out there playing the game, right? And life still isn't pleasant doing that because the person you're leeching off of eventually resents you and starts to treat you a certain way, especially when you're a man, because men need to be producers and getting out there and getting it. Women don't necessarily have to be. They need to be finding the breadwinners and complimenting them. For heterosexual people, that is. Anyway, if you're a gay man, it still stands the same. You need to be a producer for your own life and not looking to be leeching off of anybody because you're by default supposed to be going out there to get your own money. See, I'm a black gay man, honey. 37 years old, that is. Just turned it. And the more I learned about us as a human species and what it is that nature has intended to actually happen, not environmental teachings and all this stuff we've gotten into and all this tomfoolery, right? The better my life became once I truly accepted and unlearned the bullshit habits, unlearned the bullshit I was taught, relearned, and my life started to go in a much better direction, right? Because I started to learn the right information. You see, school, for most of us, doesn't teach us the right information. It teaches us the basics, but it doesn't teach you how to play this capitalist game. See, a lot more people out there, I'm not sure how it is in your country, but I know this is happening probably all over the world, especially America. A lot more people are ending up on the streets homeless. Just in Los Angeles alone, 65,000 people, or more actually by now, are on the streets homeless. Because money keeps running away from them. Because they have mental issues. Or if they don't have mental issues, they just can't hold on to money, so they're in the street anyway. Money keeps, like I said, money doesn't need you. You need the money. Money can keep running away from you as long as you like I said, money's like a wild boar. Money is the bull in the rodeo nightclub that you're trying to, avoid getting thrown off of, and most of you will get thrown off of eventually. So that's what having money is like for the untrained mind. And they don't teach you, like I said, they don't teach you this stuff in most schools. Obviously, they don't teach you this, and even in college, you don't learn how to properly prepare for taxes. Well, when you're a W 2 worker, it doesn't matter anyway, okay? Because they're taking money out your check anyway for that. But if you start a business, you're gonna need to learn how to regular end up taxes. But everybody should know how to use credit to their advantage and not just be spending it up and getting into debt. Right? You want to turn that credit into good debt, and works in your advantage by knowing how to play the game. They don't teach you money management for real in most of these schools, of any, so that you can hold on to your money. Money management is very important, and they don't teach that. And then when we get out of high school or if we go to college and we get to our careers, that's most of the time all the learning that we do, we stop learning. And actually, that's the biggest bullet in your brain, in your life, that you could do. And I was guilty of it. There was one point where I thought that I was the wise one, the wise young one, not knowing that with the knowledge that I had acquired was becoming obsolete because I didn't keep learning. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a big star, you know, and all that jazz, right? Which never happened, right? Because life came at me when I got out there in the real world. And life comes in fears when you're not ready for it. It will shake you, try to kill you, throw you off, make you sad, put you down, bust you up. And leave you destitute. Okay? And so, with these lovely new advances in technology and platform YouTube, one thing led to another where I started learning about financial literacy and how I should prioritize my money. I keep an accounting sheet, a little Excel sheet of my expenses, plus what I make a month, plus what I project to make based on the hours that I get. And I'm somebody that always makes sure I get 40 hours a week, okay? How do I do it? Because I'm cunning. I'm cunning. I get more cunning as I learn more stuff, as I become more well-rounded, as I keep transforming and elevating in consciousness. So, the more I learned a lot, and most of these are free lessons on YouTube that you can find. But you got the thing with even though this information is out there, it won't find you unless you go looking for it, right? It won't find you unless you go looking for it, and it's out there. So if you're not doing it, look for some financial literacy lessons and courses on YouTube. Type in financial literacy. You'll find a couple channels that come up. But you do have to be careful because some of these channels will lead you down a risky and dark path. Don't we get into pyramid schemes or nothing. We're talking about actual financial literacy, how to manage the money that you already make. You know, I work at a job where you have a couple of these people complaining that this one Asian guy at my job at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. His name is, I'm just gonna call him Jeffrey. That's not his real name. He always talks about send me the rich people, send me the rich people, because you know he works at the front desk and he wants to make tips every day, all the time. And when he doesn't really make enough tips or doesn't get nothing, or maybe he just gets $20 for that day, most of them are upset. He's upset or whatever. He said, send me the rich people. I said, well, how do you know how rich people look? He said, "You know how much people look." I said, "You're probably looking talking about celebrity rich because those people are usually flashy and they want to be seen and they're not smart and they're probably usually targets if they're not careful." Okay. Especially in this economy and world that we find ourselves in. Usually, the real rich people, the smart people that keep the money for long periods of time in their lives, they don't look rich because they're smart and their tones all the way back. They look like the average person that you see walking down the street, right? So I said, I don't know what you want me to send you, my friend. Rich doesn't truly have a look, not real rich. Um, and how do I know this? I've been studying these people, studying the real rich, not the celebrity rich, not the social media rich, not them. These are people who don't know how to handle their money, and money usually runs away from these hoes too, because they don't have any money management skills. So I'm like, it doesn't matter how much money they give you, my friend. You need to learn how to manage your money because the money you keep getting is going to keep running away from you. No matter how many commission bonuses that you get at the front desk, how much you make an hour, how much customers give you, money will keep running away from you if you do not know how to wrangle that bitch in. Okay? So, you have to control that money. You have to make that money work for you too. And I understand people who now have kids, but they're still making like $22,000 a year. It's harder for you. Now the thing is, if you live in America, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if any other like developed countries have a government program where you can get like food stamps and cash, whatever, from a particular organization. For developed countries, maybe you do, maybe you don't. You can tell me in the comment section if your country provides a program like welfare or whatever it's called in your country. I know that America has a program like that. And for people who have children, they can get those benefits or whatever. Women can get things like WIC and whatever while they're working their jobs. But see, it's also using the um, money and benefits that the government gives you in conjunction with the money that you get from your paycheck yourself to work to your advantage. And that all comes with organization and money management skills and developing those. Because those are your lifesavers. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about learning it. That you must learn it, or your life will keep continuing to go down a shitty path. Right? Because money rules and runs the world, honey. Why? Because all of us as a collective, unfortunately, have seemed to agree that money is this thing that's important. We see it as value. We've agreed to it. Right? We agreed to go to a job, work 9 to 5 because we believe that money has value as a collective. We believe that $20 bill is worth what it says it's worth. Even though in the big picture money's actually worthless. But we've agreed to it. Especially since the American dollar, the United States dollar, is somehow, I think, the world's backup currency still currently, but a lot of people are giving this country the side eye because, well, America's foolish, okay? Foolish, and its head is too big, and now it's getting it into trouble. This country into trouble. But anyway, most currencies are fiat currencies anyway, which means there's nothing to actually back them up. It's made up. It's make believe. But let's be honest, folks. Life is make believe anyway. What our eyes see is not actually what's even there. So anyway, you need to learn how to manage that money. I want to wrap this up because I don't want to make this video too long. You need to go ahead and get online. You need to take some financial, put in money management. That's what you just, in YouTube, put in money management, okay? And you should get some good stuff that comes up to teach you how to manage that money, because you got to, at this point, you have to actually go after your own education. And now it's possible to do it for free and not pay a dime. So instead of trying to be entertained all the time for your lackluster working life online, actually go on there to educate yourself for free and develop some really, really important skills that can take you far. Even if you're only making $22,000 a year at the lowest. Right? There are obviously some sacrifices that you want to have to make, because when you're in the poor class or the working poor, you know, I'm still in the working poor class at this point. It's got to be either this or that. You can't be like a rich person. You can't have all of what you want or need. It's got to be either this or that, right? And you have to be disciplined and doing it like that. It's got to be this or that. You gotta know what money's coming in, what money's going out, and that's where it starts. Most of you do not know what money is coming in, what money is going out. You're just on auto. You're just on auto. Your money comes in, it goes right back out. Money comes in, it goes right back out. Because you're getting it, you're spending it all. You're getting it, you're spending it all. Instead of prioritizing money, instead of taming and organizing money, and setting your soldiers up to really truly benefit you, and stop letting money run away to these back into the hands of these corporations and these rich people, because that's what ends up happening. It stays in your hands for a brief moment, but then it just runs back into the hands of corporations and rich people, because they know how to handle money, they know how to keep money and tame it and work to their advantage, but you don't. So it's time for you to learn and stop playing the victim. It's time for you to learn and stop whining about the fact that you never have any money, blah, blah, blah. Well, you can change that. And you can learn to use your government resources to your advantage. You just gotta do your homework. And then we can talk about you moving up to the next level in money. But for now, you gotta get this first level of money right. If you can learn how to manage $2 first, you can learn how to manage $10. If you can learn how to manage $10, you can learn how to manage $100, and so on and so forth. This has been Peyton 3.0, the EDM and drum step vocalist Zombie Supreme, the Godfather, and the Mother of the Nile. Now, for those of you who are actually of my community and you watch everything I do, you're of the EDM community. If you do not know what EDM is, that means you're not of the community. You're not in that world, but that's okay. You can leave the video down. Well, actually, no, do stay, because there is something for you. You may be into this next part, okay? You may be into it. Give me a moment. For those who are just came for this video about the money, you may be into one of these. Number one, subscribe to this channel right here, youtube.com/cset. Wow, if you just subscribe at the bottom of the video, press like, comment, do not watch the video, and then just click away to something else without any interaction. Actually interact. This is still social media, even on YouTube. It's not just TV to watch and walk away from. So interact, comment, share, whatever, whatnot, because you know you got a lot from this video. Don't play. Um, YouTube.com, we discussed that anyway. Sessionslive.com/Peyton3662. Why? Because that's the platform where I go and I sing. Yes, I mean, or I sing and I sang, okay? I sang live and you can request your favorite song, okay? For me to sing. We had a good time. It's really gamified, you know, all that. Yes, but for those of you who are my hardcore fan and you decide to watch everything that I do of the EDM community, and you're not, and you're a new person who is in the EDM community, and you have not subscribed to any of my social medias because you're brand new, well, go ahead and do that right now. I really appreciate it. Let's build a community, folks. Let's build a movement. This has been Peyton 3.0, and I will see you on the next video. Remember, it's time to learn how to manage that money. It will change your life. It has definitely changed mine. I will see you later. Because I always pay all my bills on time. Been doing it for the last 3 years, honey. More. And I am never a broke bitch. Have a good day.